It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson, only on 610 CHTM.
Welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Jaret Schneider. With me today, once again, Mayor Tim Johnston. Thank you for coming, Mayor Johnston.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, we've had a busy week in Thompson. I know you were at a lot of events, and I was at a few of them. I'll give you a couple of minutes to run down some of the things that you took part in over the past week, as well as anything that might be coming up.
Sure. A couple of highlights in terms of some of the events that took place. First, Council held a special meeting on Monday evening with the purpose to provide approval to do some capital work regarding the water utility, and I was pleased the Council approved the recommendation of our administration to try a pilot project in terms of the replacement of infrastructure through pipe bursting. It's a technique used by many other municipalities. Really, the net gain for the city is that it will require less excavation and subsequently less work to bring the individual properties back up to current appearance and things like that. So I was pleased with that. In addition, I had an opportunity on Tuesday evening to attend the Thompson Economic Diversification public open house. I appreciate those people that came out to provide their comments. Again, the TEDWIG will be providing an opportunity for people to have feedback, and specifically at this time it's regarding the Thompson and district plan, as well as some zoning bylaw amendments and regulations that we are proposing that be updated and modernized in terms of trying to make Thompson more attractive for investment. And then last night I had a chance to attend a session on labor market conditions and a chance to listen to the chief statistician for the province of Manitoba, Will Falk, talk a little bit about some of the realities of the labor market in Thompson and the north, and also had a good chance to talk with him about the issue of the census numbers and their impact on Thompson. He shared the opinion that the census wasn't reflective of the true population of Thompson, and we continue to work with the province to address that, largely in a number of different areas in terms of the shadow population, which would be the number of individuals that are working here on a temporary basis, the impact of being a regional center, as well as, quite frankly, the count itself and some of the concerns we may have over the count. So we're going to continue to work with the province to get the right number. People have to understand how critical it is to have the correct number with respect to population. It impacts every single grant virtually that we receive, certainly on the per capita basis, be it the gas tax, be it the annual funding from the province. And right now the city of Thompson is looking at roughly a decrease of approximately $500,000 because of the so-called decrease in population. And yet we look around, our vacancy rate is still at zero. We see more construction, so we're not convinced that the census that was done accurately, and we'll work with the province to get a much better number that we can move forward and hopefully recover some of those lost dollars.
204-677-8181, taking your calls directly to the mayor, 204-677-8181. You mentioned the TEDWIG event that was on Tuesday night. They talked a lot of stuff, including the development of the city inside city limits. They also mentioned 50% of Thompson is made up of parking lots, I believe. What does this mean for the growth of the city?
Well, it's interesting because one of the challenges over the last number of years was looking at how do we expand within the boundaries. It is far less expensive to expand within the boundaries than it is to move outside the boundaries and have to put new infrastructure in. So, for example, on the regulatory bylaws, for a long time there were bylaws that required certain amounts of parking. We will revisit those to make sure that the parking requirements today meet the issues of today. And so when Thompson was originally developed, it was developed with an awful lot of surface parking. We hopefully can use some of that excess parking to look for future developments. So a great example of doing this is looking within your boundaries was the Best Western development. That was developed on land that was formerly green space in this case, but quite frankly we were able to put a building in there using our existing infrastructure. We want to take a look at more of those opportunities, not necessarily on the green space, so I don't want to cause any panic, but looking largely at those surface parking areas and how can we utilize those to the best opportunity in terms of future development.
Absolutely. 204-677-8181, taking your calls directly to the mayor, 204-677-8181. RDPC, they're having their 50th anniversary celebration this weekend. What events will you be participating in, and what do you hope this draws maybe to the community?
Well, I hope that people have a chance to take a look at the community, especially those ones that are returning. I think that there's been a huge evolution of Thompson over those years, and so I welcome back former students of Thompson High School, R.D. Parker Collegiate, and hope they enjoy the weekend. I know there's a variety of events. Also, it's Riverside School's 50th anniversary, so I was able to attend both those schools. So I welcome back all the visitors and hope they enjoy their visit and their stay in Thompson.
Absolutely. 204-677-8181, taking your calls directly to the mayor. Also, last night was the labor shortages presentation. I talked to you there for a bit. Why do you think maybe it's hard for some businesses in Thompson to find employees, even with jobs always available and competitive wages throughout the city?
Well, it was interesting, and I appreciated the stats that the session provided. Clearly, there's two major issues that I saw from the stats. One is that, unfortunately, we do not have a large base of skilled labor. And so we have to focus on training people and ensuring that we can provide opportunities for people to gain the skills they need to get into the workforce. The second one that I thought was very interesting was the number of pending retirements that this community faces. And again, it should be no surprise to anyone. Thompson is 50 years old, as we're seeing by all the anniversaries, and when you get to that age, you're going to start to see some of those changes. And so I think that we're going to have to work, and I think the province made a commitment to work in terms of training. I think, again, it reinforces the need for things like University College of the North, and not just from the scholastic side, but also from the trades side. We need to do more work on that area. And, you know, it's a unique situation in northern Manitoba. We sit in a region with a large amount of unemployment, and yet we have labor shortages here locally. And so common sense would say we have to figure out a way where we can marry those or match those two things to the benefit of the region and the city. And I think that there's a commitment from the province, and I think there was a very strong turnout from the business community. And so I'm confident that we're going to be able to work together and realize that.
Exactly. Next Wednesday is the Community Neighborhoods First meeting. These series of meetings will be open to anyone. So what can people expect from these meetings, and what are they for?
Well, this is the Speak Up Thompson series. A number of years ago, Council introduced, during my first term as mayor, we introduced the concept of going out into the neighborhoods and providing an opportunity for residents to express comments, concerns, suggestions to Council. The goal was to take the meetings into the neighborhoods, remove it from City Hall. We know City Hall can sometimes be an intimidating location. Get out into the neighborhoods, encourage people to come out and offer suggestions and be constructive in terms of some of the challenges. I can tell you that since we initiated those, and when we first did it a number of years ago, we didn't believe it was going to be an annual process. But in all honesty, it's been very successful in terms of giving Council an opportunity to listen to the community, and I want to stress that. People showing up for Speak Up Thompson, the title says it. We want Thompsonites to put forward their ideas, their suggestions. Council will be there to listen and take those suggestions and hopefully implement them. I think that we've had real good success over the years, and I've always been very pleased with how positive the meetings are. So I encourage people, next October 3rd, Riverside School, 7 o'clock, October 17th, Burntwood School, 7 o'clock. We'll provide a very short presentation. We'll have department heads there to answer any questions, and then Council will be there to listen.
Absolutely. So it's definitely a chance for residents to speak out on any needs they might have. What are some of the things you're hoping to get back as feedback?
Well, I think that over the years we've had good comments in terms of, for example, operations. We've had comments in terms of some of the things that we could do or some of the things that are valuable to people. Secondly, I think some of the suggestions in terms of what some of the needs for the community are, whether those are programming needs in specific buildings or departments, or whether it's the city moving in a different direction. You mentioned the notion of housing. That's always been an item, and I think that we've moved on that one. And as I drive around, there's a number of units being built now, and we have a lot of interest in continuing that. So there is no specific topic. We encourage people to come out and share what their views are and what their suggestions are to make Thompson a better place to live.
Absolutely. It's definitely their chance to get out and talk. You wanted to talk about McLean Park. I've seen there's been some work done there and around Thompson as well, Thompson Drive, things like that.
Well, I as I've been saying over the last number of weeks, the capital projects we're going to commence, and we have done a fair bit of work in getting those ready. So we're now finishing up some of those projects. Thompson Drive South, I drove by on the way here this morning, and the asphalting is starting. That crew had also done a fair bit of curb work, sidewalk work in around town. We'll be completing the repairs on residential streets with some of the asphalt as well. In addition, McLean Park is proceeding. The weather has been very cooperative for us, and so some of the structures are actually being erected right now, and it's going to look great. It's even a little different than what I anticipated, and it's I think it looks far better, and so I'm anxious to see them get that work done. And then the other one that I wanted to highlight, we've done a fair bit of work at the cemetery. Very pleased with how it is progressing, and we will continue to work there. I know that the road continues to be a major issue. We need to complete the capital works in the area, and then we'll go back and address the road. But hopefully we'll have at least it smoothed out a little bit for this weekend. And so the capital works are in full swing. They're actually getting to the point of most of them winding down. The only one that will remain largely two areas. One is the utility work up in the Eastwood area, and the second one is the Burntwood trailer court in terms of drainage. And those ones will continue into the fall and the early winter.
And great. We look forward to all of them being completed. Last, I'll give you a minute to wrap things up with any messages.
Well, I think that, again, from what I understand, the weather is going to be absolutely phenomenal this weekend, so I encourage people to get out and take in some of the activities, whether it's at the high school reunion or the Riverside reunion, or it's just a chance to get out into the community, enjoy the amenities of a beautiful fall weekend, from what I understand. Our reminder, as always, is to please keep safe operations and safety paramount, and again, ask people's cooperation and patience in around the work sites that we do have up, but enjoy the weekend. It's rare that we get a weekend that is going to offer the weather and the opportunities to get out and enjoy the community like this late in the fall. So thank you very much.
And we actually just got a message from a caller. They're saying there's a problem with increased traffic flow in the City Centre Mall parking lot near Tim Hortons and Mark's, and a lack of proper signage at Cree and Selkirk. They said there's no sign there, and when they might expect to see one.
Okay. I can relate that in terms of the work that is being done, we've got two commercial establishments, both restaurants, doing some significant capital work to their drive-throughs, one being at the McDonald's site, the second being at Tim Hortons. And again, that's going to cause some disruption over the next few days. I anticipate that work won't take much longer, but again, there's going to be some disruption of traffic there. We continue to work with the mall owner on traffic patterns. The city has limited ability, quite frankly, once you turn off our road into the parking lot, but we continue to work with the merchants, and they've been cooperative in terms of trying to make sure movement is it continues in an orderly fashion. We know that there's a lot more pressure in that, specifically the City Centre Mall parking lot right now, so we'll continue to do that. But there is capital work, and I think that's probably the biggest issue. I'm not aware of the sign issue on Cree and Selkirk, but I'll certainly raise it with Public Works.
Absolutely. We're having our radiothon tomorrow. We would just like to thank you for the first donation. That'll do it for this week's edition of City Beat. We'll be back once again next Thursday at 11:30. Be sure to tune in, and for all the residents, have a great rest of your day.
Next Thursday morning at 11:30.